-1 week before Naruto returns to Konoha. Over the past 3 years, Naruto has grown up quite nicely and also gained a lot of experience between escorting the daimyo to all of his meetings and then, after taking on small missions in place of Jiraiya and even learning the basics of Jiraiya's spy network. Using his knowledge of the spy network, Naruto contacted some of the stronger spies and made a small group with them who report mainly to him as their leader. Strength-wise, he could fight Sage Mode Jiraiya with about 30% of his full power, and he was still getting stronger. His vision over the years from mastering his ocular techniques has significantly diminished, although he can still see. He can't see too far. He would say his vision is about 40%, but lies and says 50%. Currently, he was sat on the edge of a king-sized bed rubbing a blonde-haired woman's head. "Hey Mari. I gotta go," he whispered, getting a moan from her as her arms wrapped around his waist, and he smiled, looking down, remembering he was only in his underwear after staying the night in Tamari's house. "How about a promise?" he whispered as she hummed, "Next time I see you. I'll be ready," he whispered as her eyes shot open and he smiled at her and leaned down and kissed her head. "Sound like a deal?" he asked as she thought about it, before letting go of him, getting a soft smile as he stood up and pulled on his clothes. He wore baggy pants that didn't touch his legs at all and a skin-tight umbu shirt with a chainmail-like armor over it, and then another shirt over that. He put on his shoes before pulling on his haori and kissing Tamari's head. "I'll see you when I propose, I guess," he whispered, getting a happy nod as he vanished in a smokeless shunshin. When he appeared at the gates, he saw Jiraiya stood there and he smirked. "So where to next, Gramps?" Naruto said jokingly to his grandmother's boyfriend and his teacher. "We're going to check in on some contacts and then home," Jiraiya said, getting a nod from Naruto, who hummed lightly. The two walked in silence until they made it to Fire Country, and Naruto smiled. "So brat, what did Tamari say about your tattoo?" Jiraiya asked as Naruto chuckled. "Before or after she threatened to kill me?" Naruto asked, getting a deadpan look from Jiraiya as Naruto sighed. "She wanted to kill me until she found out why I have it," Naruto said as he popped a lollipop stick into his mouth. "Why do you have it?" Jiraiya asked as Naruto smirked. "For my new organization that will be named when we make out first move," Naruto said, getting look from Jiraiya. "Named?" Jiraiya asked as Naruto smirked. Now pervy Sage, that would be telling," Naruto said as he hummed. "Besides, the members are strong enough and stealthy enough to get around the whole elemental nations without being realized," Naruto said. "Could I know a couple?" Jiraiya asked as Naruto shrugged. "Yeah, sure. Biggest hint is that you know him because he works for you and the other is his partner," Naruto said as he felt the same too. He was talking about getting closer. "Eh?" Jiraiya asked until he saw Kisame and Itachi appear. "Itachi and Kisame," Naruto said with a smile. "So, anything new?" Naruto asked as Jiraiya, who had gotten on guard, had face faulted. "Yeah?" Jiraiya asked as Naruto hummed. "Oh right, Itachi and Kisame are 2 members, 2 of my 3 spies in the Akatsuki, if you will. Meanwhile I have members in every nation," Naruto said as Itachi nodded while Kisame gave a toothy grin before Itachi spoke up. "We've been reassigned from capturing the Kyuubi," Itachi said as Naruto hummed. "Right, tell me where and report on the second project," Naruto said as Itachi nodded. "We're being assigned the Yonbi and Gobi," Itachi said as Naruto nodded with a hum. "Kisame, the second project I gave you and Samahata?" Naruto asked as Kisame nodded. "Samahata got a large amount of Tobi's chakra," Kisame said as Naruto hummed, or as Jiraiya knows him, the masked man, or as he is calling himself, Madara Uchiha. Kisame finished as Naruto hummed. "Right, I wish to know what it's like," Naruto said, getting a growl from Samahata as Kisame nodded. It's an Uchiha with parts of a Senju artificially installed, Kisame said as they felt Naruto's chakra flare heavily forcing them to the ground. Which Senju? He asked blankly. Hashirama Kisame said with sweat on his forehead and they felt the chakra increase. I wish to know, Naruto asked blankly kneeling in front of Samahata as he held up gray hair in front of her. Does this hair feel the same or similar to it? Naruto asked as Samahata ate the residual chakra off the hair before nodding. How so? Naruto asked as Kisame replied for Samahata. Artificially, Kisame said as Naruto growled and they felt his chakra vanish. So Naruto said, burning the hair, I want you two to warn the Yonbi and Gobi about the Akatsuki, tell them as much as you know about members and extend an invitation to our group. Naruto said as Kisame and Itachi nodded before vanishing. Naruto stood there smirking as Jiraiya finally got up. What did you need Kakashi's hair for? Jiraiya asked as Naruto smiled. Samahata just told me who the masked man is, Naruto said as they started walking. Who did Kakashi get his eye from? Naruto asked as Jiraiya's eyes widened. Obito, he said as Naruto nodded. Bastard practically killed his own teacher, Naruto said as they kept walking and Naruto continued. But he committed a sin to the leaf and artificially produced Hashirama cells and attached them to himself. Or he had helped, Naruto said as Jiraiya nodded. I also have reason to believe my grandfather was still alive until a little before I was born, Naruto said as he hummed. That would be enough help to get the cells, as according to my grandmother's diary, he had taken a large amount of Hashirama cells when biting him at the end of their fight, Naruto said as he hummed. That could be who Orochimaru got the cells from. He used to be a part of the Akatsuki, Jiraiya said as Naruto nodded. Also, you said your group has members in every country? Jiraiya asked as Naruto nodded. Even Tetsu? Jiraiya asked as Naruto nodded. Yeah, one being their leader Mifune, who respected my sword skills, and another being Mugen, Naruto said before smirking. That's all you're getting, Naruto said as Jiraiya chuckled. Right, your group's name is what though? Jiraiya asked as Naruto hummed. Well, about the name, Naruto said sheepishly as he rubbed his head looking away. We still don't have one, Naruto said as he heard Jiraiya choke. Eh? A group so big and you don't have a name yet? Jiraiya asked as Naruto shook his head. We're mainly just trying to stop the Akatsuki and bring peace through talks and such, Naruto said with a shrug. Kisame said as long as he can spar with me he doesn't mind what we do. Naruto said as he hummed. Considering there is 13 people, I dunno what to call it, Naruto said. Well, going to be 13, Naruto said as Jiraiya thought for a moment. So all the Jinchurikis, 3 people from the Akatsuki and 1 person from Tetsu? Jiraiya asked as Naruto sighed. Excately that, Naruto said as they kept walking. Sadly, the Sanbai will need to reform somewhere before I can go talk with it, and hopefully I get to it before the Akatsuki do. Naruto said as Jiraiya nodded. Plus, if my gut is right, then it will be this Tobi who is going after the Sanbai with another member, Naruto said as they entered a bar and sat down. Naruto listened in to Jiraiya's conversation with the spy, and after the conversation the two walked out. So Orochimaru went into hiding, Naruto said thoughtfully as Jiraiya nodded. The two walking slowly towards Konoha. -1 week later. Over the week, Naruto had decided to name the group Elemental Guardians. He didn't know why, it's just a name that came to mind. As well as naming his group, he had successfully gained the Yonbi Ans Gobi to join his group, which was a huge plus for him. To top it off, he and Jiraiya kept sparring and Naruto could now beat Jiraiya easily, with about 25% of his max strength even as Jiraiya uses Sage Mode. Currently our hero and his teacher were walking along the road to Konoha. I bet Granny Tsunade will be waiting for us, so there is no need to rush. Naruto said, already sensing Tsunade's chakra at the gates. If you want I can Hiraishin us there? Naruto asked as Jiraiya nodded, and Naruto put his hand on Jiraiya's shoulder and they vanished in a light yellow flash, reappearing on top of the gates. See, told you. Naruto said, holding out his hand as Jiraiya grumbled, handing him 30,000 ryo as Naruto counted it. I love making bets with idiots who forget I'm a sensory nin, Naruto said, hopping off the gate as the two waiting for him got a better look at him. His hair had grown out and, judging from the hairband he had in it, covered his face. His eyes had slightly dulled and darkened, giving them a look at deep ocean blue eyes opposite to his sky blue, and he stood at 6 feet 1 inch taller than both women. Oh hey Sakura. You chakras changed a bit in 3 years, he said as he looked at her. You learned Granny's super strength, he mused, surprising the two. Your sensing, is that good? Tsunade asked as he nodded. And the fact Sakura is constantly channeling chakra to her arms to keep them strengthened, Naruto said as he turned to Tsunade, and hello Granny. I missed you, he said as he opened his arms and she hugged him. While in the hug he sensed all the familiar chakras of his friends and even smiled a little. Seems like Mari's here, he whispered to himself as Tsunade looked surprised. She's on the other side of Konoha, Tsunade whispered as Naruto chuckled. And I can sense from here to the daimyo's palace, Naruto said with a shrug before he turned to walk away until he heard Jiraiya. I'm surprised you didn't tell Tsunade about your tattoo, Jiraiya said with a smirk as Naruto froze and turned to glare at Jiraiya as Tsunade looked pissed. What? It's true, Jiraiya said as Naruto grumbled about stingy old men. How big is the tattoo? Tsunade asked as Naruto sighed and mumbled. Speak up, she said. My whole back, Naruto said, surprising Sakura. I got it for a reason. Now do you mind? I gotta go see your soon-to-be future granddaughter-in-law, who already knows about the tattoo. Naruto said, vanishing from the spot. Damn it, Naruto, Tsunade growled as Naruto had vanished. With Naruto. He reappeared in front of a door, room 803. Damn, Granny's gave her the luxury stay, Golden Leaf Hotel, huh? Naruto mumbled as he knocked and heard some cursing and a quick coming. He heard feeding tapping on the wooden floor and the door opened. Sorry, I was just about to nap. She stopped when she saw Naruto there. Hey Mari, he said as he soon felt her cuddling him with her arms tight around his neck. I'm home, Naruto said as she smiled and nodded. Oh, and I need to give you something. As soon as he said that, Tamari let go and he popped a seal on his hand as a small engagement box appeared and he opened it. Will you be my wife? He asked softly as he saw her nod. He slipped the ring onto her finger and she smiled. What are these for? She asked, pointing to the seals, not recognizing them. Naruto chuckled as he pointed to them. This one, he said, pointing to the first, is the smallest Hiraishin marker I could make, Naruto said, surprising her. And with the cubified gem in the eyes of the weasel and Kyubi, Naruto said, pointing to the blood-red gems. I can always sense this one first, Naruto said, and pointed to the next seal. This is a seal that only allows me and you to remove it. A blood seal of sorts with electrocutes anyone else, Naruto said, and pointed to the second to last one. This one protects you with a small chakra-like armor as long as chakra is being pumped into it. Naruto said with a smirk, and with the final seal, constantly taking in nature chakra and converting it to regular chakra and pumping it into the third seal, Naruto said as her eyes widened. I have an infinite shield, she said as he nodded and felt her grab his face before kissing him as he smiled. Do I get these for each present I give you? He asked as she shook her head and he chuckled. Why are you in Konoha anyways? He asked as she handed him a scroll that's next to her door and he read it. Oh yeah, Chunin exams and Suna's hosting it, he read as he hummed softly. Ooh, that's interesting. Your ambassador and organizer alongside Shika, he said, getting a nod from her as he handed her it back and kisses her head. I look forward to seeing the Chunin hopefuls fail, he said with a smirk. Naru dash, she said as he nodded. I know we want them to pass, Naruto said before remembering something. I just remembered Konohamaru would be joining along with his little gang of misfits, Naruto said, getting a giggle from Temari as he kissed her head. Anyways, I gotta go. Something about Granny wanting to test my skills since I've been out of the village for 3 years, he said with a shrug as she giggled. I'll see you soon, I love you, she whispered as he smiled and kisses her softly. I love you too, Mari, he said before vanishing as she closed the door. When Naruto reappeared, he was stood in Tsunade's office and looked around with a soft smile. Hey Granny, he said as she looked up from her paperwork. Brat, she said as he pouted a little. I'd prefer being called the village's strongest, he said as she scoffed before sighing. So you beat Jiraiya, she asked as he nodded. Using about a quarter of my complete strength, Naruto said as he took a seat, and the grandmother and grandson talked for a short while until they heard the doors open and Naruto saw Sakura and Shizune entering. Hey you two, he said as he took a sip from the sake saucer on the desk in front of him. Who's this? Shizune asked, not seeing how Naruto looked now as Sakura giggled seeing the depressing aura appear around Naruto. Take a guess who the brat is, Shizune, Tsunade said, taking a sip of her saucer while Naruto was crouched in the corner drawing circles on the floor. Naruto, she asked as he jumped up and his aura changed instantly as he cuddled. I knew my big sister wouldn't forget me, he said cheerfully as she giggled softly, cuddling him until he let go and hummed, so you'd probably want to test my strength? Naruto asked as Tsunade nodded and he hummed, who am I fighting? You, Kakashi or Gramps? Naruto asked as Tsunade looked to him. If what you said was true, then Kakashi wouldn't be a match for you. So you'll be fighting me and Jiraiya, Tsunade said, surprising the two occupants, and this is when Temari and Shikamaru entered while Naruto was humming in thought. Yeah, sure, I'll accept the fight. In return, when I win you have to give me a small holiday. I'll need it to go learn Sage Mode from the Toads and learn some stuff from the Pantera summons, Naruto said as Tsunade sighed. If you win, consider it granted, Tsunade said as Naruto smirked like a fox. Hey, Mari, Naruto said, turning on his heel, walking up to his fiancée and cuddling her, kissing her head softly. Before he could speak anymore, a small puff of smoke appeared on Tsunade's desk and Naruto hummed, Kichi? What's happened? Naruto asked as Kichi locked eyes with him. Akatsuki have been spotted about a day away from Suna, Kichi said as Natuto's face turned serious. Tell one of the toads in Suna to go warn Gaara to start getting people into shelters. Also tell Gaara that backup's coming, don't worry, Naruto said as he looked to Tsunade, who nodded. Jonin Naruto, Elite Jonin Kakashi, you will take Chunin Sakura and Suna Jonin Temari to Suna to assist in countering the attack of the Akatsuki and prevent them gaining the Ichibi. I won't accept failure on this mission, Tsunade said as she sat up straight. This is Sakura's first S-rank mission, so make sure she returns safe, okay, Naruto? Tsunade asked as Naruto nodded. Course, Granny, I wouldn't want one of your students being killed, Naruto said as he looked at her. Who's in charge of the mission? He asked, seeing Kakashi at the window listening in. I wish to see how well you perform as the team leader. If you perform well, you may end up getting promoted to Elite Jonin, Tsunade said as Naruto nodded. Meet at the gates to Suna in 30 minutes. Anyone tardy will be left to catch up, and I'm serious. This is an S-rank mission with the potential to destroy the whole continent, Naruto said seriously as they nodded and left in their own shunshuns while Naruto stayed behind inside. I guess you don't have any lollipops I could take? Naruto asked as Tsunade raised a brow. Lollipops? Why? Tsunade asked as he laughed. You don't want me being like a Suma now, do you? He asked as Tsunade shook her head and opened a drawer, handing him a large bag. Jiraiya told me about it, she said as he smiled and grabbed one out while sealing away the bag. Right, thanks, I'll see you later, he said, vanishing in a flash of yellow as Tsunade smiled. He truly is the strongest in the village, Tsunade said as Shizune looked confused. Why do you say that, Lady Tsunade? Shizune asked as Tsunade giggled. He can use the Hiraishin with proficiency that even his father or my granduncle couldn't get, he uses it like it's second nature. The same proficiency that Shursui had with the Shunshin, Tsunade said as Shizune's eyes widened, and we haven't even seen his proficiency with Mokuton, Tsunade finished. Troublesome, they heard before looking to see Shikamaru leaving after hearing everything, and Shizune giggled while Tsunade sighed. With Naruto and the assist team. Naruto had stood there and saw the three other members of the team there. Restart now. I want to be at Suna before dusk, so I'll summon a toad to get us there faster. Make sure to channel chakra into your feet to stick to the toad, he said as he bit his thumb, drawing blood, and held up the final sign for the summoning jutsu, that being rammed before a large orange toad with a Haori for boss appeared. Hey, Chief Toad, Naruto said as the toad grunted. Naruto, the toad said as he smiled slightly and realized three other people. Who are these people? Gamabunta asked as Naruto replied. You know Kakashi from my dad, but the others are Sakura and Temari, Naruto said as Gamabunta nodded. Good to meet you again, Kakashi. Although we should get going now, Bunta said as Kakashi nodded, and before the others could say anything, Gamabunta started to leap. Where to? Bunta shouted as Naruto chuckled and replied. Suna, Gaara is going to be attacked by Akatsuki, Naruto shouted back as Bunta leapt towards Kaze no Kuni and Sunagakure. -3 hours later, sunset. Naruto hopped off of Gamabunta's head with his team. Thanks, Bunta, he said as Bunta nodded and vanished in some smoke. Once they turned around and saw Jonin guards stood there who bowed and let them enter. Naruto made some clones upon entering. You four, stand at the gates and hide. There might be a traitor, so if you find him I want you to arrest him before he can do anything, Naruto said as they nodded and vanished. What do you mean, Naruto? Temari asked as Naruto chuckled. It's just a precaution, Naruto said as they walked into a village, and he smiled softly as they walked towards the Kazekage building. Upon reaching the building they walked to Gaara's office and entered. Naruto, Gaara said as he entered and got away from his friend. I've come with my fiancé and our second best Jonin along with the second or third best medic we have, Naruto said as Gaara smiled at his friend. So you finally asked her? Gaara asked as Naruto nodded and held his hand out as a panther-like seal appeared on his hand before a katana with an S-shaped Tsubasa in the sheath as he put it at his side. Where'd you get the sword, Naruto? Temari asked as he smirked. This? It's a present from the Pantera summons. When I master the sword style and learn the sword's true name, I'll be able to take the name of Panther King from the summons, Naruto said as Temari's eyes widened as he looked to her. And you'll be their queen, he said before he looked to Gaara. Anyways, Gaara, has anyone been suspicious recently? Naruto asked as Gaara looked at him and nodded softly as Naruto hummed. Yes, Yura has recently been acting suspicious, Gaara said as Naruto nodded. Apart from that, no one. Gaara finished as Kankuro looked at his brother in surprise. Gaara, why'd you just tell him? Kankuro exclaimed as Gaara looked to Naruto, who sighed. Crow and Shark are making their move against them as we speak now, Gaara, Naruto said as he nodded. Naruto here is my boss, our group's boss. He came up with the name recently, Gaara said, surprising the three who didn't know about it, and Temari looked at her future husband and brother. You're in Naruto's group? Temari asked as Gaara nodded. Yeah, Gaara was one of the first people I recruited, Naruto said as he looked out the window as his eyes glazed and he smirked. Seems Yura's been caught. Naruto said as he gained the memories of a clone one of his clones made after catching Yura. Naruto hummed as he felt two large signatures getting closer to Suna as he sighed. Seems they're here, Naruto said as they nodded. Naruto opened the window and the group of 6 vanished as Naruto reappeared on the wall beside Gaara. So how has your relationship with Shikaku come along? Naruto asked as Gaara looked to him. We're close enough that I'm allowed to sleep with the seal released and he doesn't try to escape, Gaara said as Naruto nodded. So us against Deidara while the others take on Sasori? Naruto asked as Gaara nodded and Naruto smirked, seeing the clay bird as the rest arrived, and Naruto smiled. You 4 have got Sasori all right? Naruto asked as they nodded and Naruto's body sparked with electricity and he smirked as he saw Gaara become as they landed on the sand, and Naruto looked at the clay bird before vanishing and ramming a Chidori through its head before burning the rest with Amaterasu after activating the Mangekyo Sharingan before returning next to Gaara and seeing a pissed-off blonde with a scratched Iwagakure headband in a black cloak with red clouds next to him, a wooden-like person both with a scowl. The Ichibi and Kyubi? Sasori my man, we have the best luck, the blonde said as Naruto chuckled. Seems Sasori is hiding behind a puppet. Good luck you 4, Naruto said as he grabbed Deidara and nodded to the Shikaku, who nodded and both took off as Naruto was holding Deidara's neck. When Naruto and Deidara reappeared alongside the Shikaku, Naruto threw Deidara into the air and allowing Gaara in Shikaku form to smirk as he shout Futon, Rankuden, wind release. Drilling air bullets. As soon as he finished saying that, he shot multiple gusts of air in the shape of a drill towards Deidara. Upon impact, Deidara's screams of pain were heard until the jutsu stopped and Naruto and Gaara saw Deidara shove his hands into his pockets. After a short while they saw him pull out some pure white clay and the mouths on his hands started to chew the clay, sculpting it until Deidara smirked and shouted C2. As soon as he finished, he threw out a dragon-like model of clay that started to expand. After it finished, Deidara hopped onto its head and it started to fly. Little did he know, it was useless trying to get away, as the next thing he saw was a yellow flash and he soon felt himself wrapped up as his clay dragon rapidly descended from the sky above. Why, you're supposed to be dead. The yellow flash died. He cried in panic before his eyes widened, seeing a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan staring into his eyes. The next words he heard made him wish it was the yellow flash. Oh, I'm not my father, Deidara heard, then noticed the black hair of the Kyubi Jinchuriki before he heard a whisper, I'm worse. Next thing he knew, his body was spasming while rattling against its binds, which were Naruto's chakra chains, as he silently screamed before his world turned black only to never wake up again. Gaara, who had just left Shikaku State and used the sand to float over to Naruto, stood there watching Naruto decapitate the mad bomber. Do you really need his bounty? Gaara asked as Naruto shrugged and sealed the Akatsuki cloak as well as the ring. It's more of a peace offering to IWA. After all, he was their shinobi, Naruto said before his eyes snapped to Deidara's body and he whispered Amaterasu. As soon as he finished, Deidara's body was encased in black flames before Naruto's eyes snapped to the blood on the clay bird and he sighed, using the same jutsu again while wiping away the blood running from his eye before sighing softly as he rubbing his head, sealing Deidara's head away. Damn headaches, I'm gonna have to switch them soon. It could also be a side effect of using Raiten no Yoroi and Hiraishin. Naruto mumbled the last part to himself as Gaara nodded. I kept telling you to switch them, but you never listened, Gaara said as Naruto shrugged and stood up and put a lollipop into his mouth as he hummed. Want one? He asked as he held one out to Gaara, who nodded and took the piece of candy, putting it into his mouth as the two walked towards Suna. Not seeing the enraged masked man or black and white creature that appeared to retrieve Deidara's body, although Naruto felt their chakra appear and fluctuate. As the two reached the gate, they turned to see the other four members returning with a smirk, although most of their clothing was ripped, and Naruto sighed as he cuddled Temari once she was close. Enough, I'm glad you're safe, he whispered as she smiled and cuddled him back, although I don't like this fashion choice. Let's go get you changed, he said, and before anyone could say anything the two vanished in a yellow glow, and Sakura sighed. He learns and masters Hiraishin, and you barely get to say anything, she grumbled as Kakashi chuckled as Kankuro nodded. Meanwhile, Gaara was enjoying the sucker in his mouth. Hey, Gaara, where'd you get the sucker? Kankuro asked as Gaara turned to him. Oh, Naruto gave me one while we walked back from where we fought Deidara, Gaara said as he walked towards the Kage building to return to his duties and to tell the village that the coast was now clear. With Naruto and Temari. Naruto was looking through Temari's closet with a soft hum before he picked up a sky blue battle kimono and handed it to her. The other stuff you can pick. Mari, he whispered as he walked to the door. They may sleep together in their underwear, but he still refused to see her nude until they were married. He heard Temari get up and walk to her drawers before he closed the door and waited. After 15 minutes he heard her open the door and come out as he smiled softly. Now I wish we could cuddle now, but we need to get to Gaara and report, he said as Temari nodded and then latched herself onto his arm. Long way or short way? Naruto asked as she hummed. Let's go the long way, pick up some dango before we get there. Temari said as he nodded, and the two started to walk to the Kazekage Tower, making sure to stop by the dango restaurant and collect an order to go before they walked to the office. After 5 minutes, they got to the office and entered to see the rest of the assistance team stood there as Naruto was chewing on a dango stick and Temari was putting the paper bag in the bin. What did we miss? Naruto asked as Gaara sighed. Seems the civilians are back in their homes and occupations, Gaara said as Naruto nodded. We were talking about how the four of them planned to split Sasori's bounty, Gaara said as Naruto hummed. Who did the most work? Naruto asked, looking at the four as they looked to Sakura, which made him look a little stunned. I'm surprised. Seems Granny's teaching time wasn't wasted, he said as Sakura seemed to puff her cheeks out in a pout. Do it 40% to Sakura and the rest 20%, Naruto said as he opened the bingo books and hummed, huh? That would make Sakura the richest civilian-based shinobi in Konoha, he mumbled as Temari choked a little. You're joking? Temari asked as he shook his head. None of them have even come close to making this much. Maybe Yuga, but she became an ANBU, Naruto said as he looked at the numbed 150 million Ryo, meaning Sakura would get 60,000. 000, and the rest would get 30 million. Gaara hummed before nodding. That's decided. Now on to what Sakura was talking about, Gaara said seriously as all eyes went to Sakura. She mumbled nervously at the sudden attention. Sasori claimed he had to meet up with a spy who he has working for Orochimaru, Sakura said as Naruto's eyes widened. So the scorpion had a spy working for the snake, Naruto muttered before sighing. Sakura nodded before continuing. He said he'd be meeting the spy at Tenchi Bridge near Kusagakure. Sakura finished as Naruto hummed. I guess we'd best take this up with Tsunade when we get back. Naruto said as Sakura nodded and Kakashi was about to nod before he started to fall forwards, only for Naruto to appear where he was falling and catch him on his back, and he sighed. Damn it, Kakashi. Chakra exhaustion. Gaara, you don't mind if we stay the night so I can make sure Kakashi has a bit more chakra before we tackle the rest of the desert? Naruto asked as Gaara shook his head. I'm sure you know where you three will be staying? Gaara asked as Naruto nodded. These two in spare rooms, meanwhile me and Temari can have a bit of time to catch up, Naruto said, picking up Kakashi on his back, and he looked to Sakura. Come on, Sakura. I'm sure you're tired as well, Naruto asked as she nodded, and the three walked out following Temari. Next day. As soon as daylight had hit, Suna the Konoha team were seen standing at the gates in front of Gaara and his siblings as Naruto smiled. If you need help, Gaara, just make sure to channel it into that. Naruto said, having handed Gaara his kunai. All the rest of our group has one bar my Akatsuki spies and the one in Tetsu. Naruto finished as Gaara nodded, knowing the members. You got it, Gaara finished before he saw them starting to leave as he smirked, seeing a pouting Temari in the corner of his eye. Just remember, you always have him next to you because of that ring, Gaara said as the siblings entered Suna. As Naruto walked alongside Sakura, he hummed, it would be faster to summon a travel toad, Naruto said as Sakura looked to him. You can do that? She asked as Naruto nodded and removed one of his hands from Kakashi's leg, bit the thumb and used the one-handed seals before slamming his hand on the ground, and out came a toad big enough for the three but much smaller than Bunta. Hey, Shiro, can you take us to Konoha? And quick, Kakashi is kinda running low and I can't transfer chakra without a risk of poisoning him with the cubies. Naruto asked as the white and navy toad nodded and took off at speeds that surprised Sakura. It took them 1 hour to make it to Konoha, where Naruto hopped off of the toad with Sakura and she saw Naruto bow. Thanks, Shiro, he said as the toad nodded again. No problem, Naru, said a female voice, making Naruto smirk at Sakura's shocked expression as the toad vanished. That was a girl? Sakura asked, stunned as Naruto nodded, and the two walked into the village. That was actually Gamabunta's wife, the mother of my two personal summons, Gamakichi and Gamatatsu, Naruto said as Sakura nodded, still shocked as they walked. Upon reaching the Hokage Tower with Kakashi still on his back, the trio entered through the main entrance and walked straight to the office. Naruto opened the door with his foot and raised a brow at those in the room. Huh? The fossils are still alive? Naruto asked jokingly as he entered and laid Kakashi on the couch. Naruto, I was expecting you all back yesterday, Tsunade said as Naruto shrugged. Not my fault. Suna threw a party for the protection of their leader and the return of a prince. Even if it was only for a night, Naruto said as he stood straight. I should probably do my report, then let Sakura report, he mumbled as he saw Tsunade nod, while the elders are here. Naruto asked as Tsunade nodded again, and he sighed upon being given the S-rank mission with the squad. We met at the western gate and I summoned Gamabunta. We got a ride to Suna from Gamabunta, and upon entering everything was evacuated from my warning to Gaara through the toads. Naruto said as he got a nod from Tsunade, and Sakura nodded to say everything was true. Once we got to Gaara's office, he debriefed us on some minor details, such as that Suna had a spy in their midst. Which one of my shadow clones